This video contains content sponsored by John Wilson Blades and MK Blades. Opinions discussed in this video do not reflect the views of John Wilson or MK. Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Jennifer Kirk.
And I'm Dave Leese, and welcome to the World Championships Ice Dance and Men's Short Program recap.
Yeah, so I came down with a fever yesterday. It was no fun, but Dave was at the rink. I was watching everything on Ice Network. We want to start with the men because that was the freshest event, just happened last night, and we have to start with Hanyu. Phenomenal performance. Some were thinking it was going to break his all-time record, which he posted earlier this year. But a couple things. He had a level 3 on, I believe it was his step sequence. Great opening quad sow. The quad toe triple toe was just, I mean, these are little nitpicky things, but a lot of positive grades of execution, but a little bit off on that. What did you think?
It's so funny because I remember before the Vancouver Olympics, there was so much hubbub, and Unikim kept getting world record scores in that short program. And I remember being in Lake Placid, and it was like, you're going to see Una do a world record. And if she didn't do it, you almost felt like I drove all this way.
A letdown.
And I really want to see Hanyu get a world record. There's like, I need to see it in person. Like, it has to happen.
So that you could say you were there.
And it was amazing last night. I didn't think it was as good as the Grand Prix final. He's done so many amazing performances that you have to parse, but I just felt like maybe the emotion wasn't there quite the same it was. It was phenomenal. He was yelling at the end. It was an athletic moment.
And that's the thing, and even the landing of the quad that I said was a little, I mean, it was great. It was a little bit tricky, but he was so focused, and the way he landed his triple toe, like his hands were so strong enough. And the Hanyu before, we've talked about it, the noodly Hanyu, I don't think that skater is around anymore. He's so much more, it just seems, in control of his body, aggressive when he goes out to compete. And I thought the footwork was a moment too when everything's done. He uses his whole body, his edges. It's just, it was great.
Stunning. It's as good in person as you would expect. It's definitely not someone where you think, oh, that's better on TV. He was phenomenal. He really was focused. There was an issue in practice earlier in the day. Apparently the Japanese Federation had filed a petition against Dennis 10. There was a practice issue. Dennis was spinning. It was Hanyu's right of way. I believe he was going to the axle and fell because he had to move his pattern. It was a little bit of a probably stressful drama.
They filed a petition?
Or they were considering it.
Because he was in his way. But when you're in a spin as a skater...
But I think because you do the program, you have the right
of way. Oh, that you should go into a spin knowing somebody's...
I mean, it happened the day before with Lizzie June and a skater, I think it was a skater from her federation. Honestly, it seems like a lot of world championship stress. Hanyu skated so well, I don't think much is going to come of that, especially.
But the yell, too, I think that's the thing that we've noticed, too, in him, that when he finished his program at the Grand Prix final, too, that, like, command and that he's here to win it. I like that. I really,
it's an athletic event. I appreciate that.
And he's bringing the athleticism. Well, Javier Fernandez skating very well, missing, it almost seemed like he was going for a quint sow cow. He was so over-rotated on that ending. I
don't love his quad sow in general.
Okay.
It's always the quad that he will turn out of or fall on. To me, it looks like he's really gotten his quad toe technique very consistent this season.
Not using his back as much.
Not using his back, and when he goes into the sow cow, I always feel like he has like just shades of Max Aaron. Not like the full
a little bit of
body, just a little bit, and to me, a little bit of inconsistency. Sometimes he takes it on a curve like Max does. It's similar technique, and sometimes he can spin a little bit, but he gives such a command performance. The thing is that both Max and Javier had falls, and the one thing I noticed in the difference in performance is Javier got up and he sold the rest of that program like his life depended on it. It did. And the judges gave him the performance, and he really deserved it. You know, that was a performance where the fall happened. He got up, and you wouldn't have known the fall happened if you just saw the rest.
Well, and I think the way that he went into his triple axel, the skater that he was in the past, I would have gotten nervous for that, but he had such commands getting into and out of it, holding that landing, doing transitions out of it. It was like the fall happened, and then he moved on, and I feel he's handling the pressure of coming in as the reigning world champion really well, because so much of the focus is on Hanyu that it seems like he can kind of just come in, hopefully do a really great long program, and I think a silver here, it's nothing.
I think also, Hanyu spends a lot of time in Japan, so he's really Orser's main student every day, working with David, working with Tracy, the whole team there, and he really seems to have gotten focused, mature, he really pays attention to all of the GOE. He holds his landings.
Yes.
He really has seemed to mature as a skater, and it was. I know people are going to say, yes, the men that are in second and third had falls, and Shoma Uno was clean and in fourth, but I felt like the performance quality, the command was really there. For Javier, about 12-ish points back behind, 11 to 12 points back behind. Hanyu, going to be difficult to catch him.
But still, that was a really, really strong score for him. And we talk about Patrick Chan. One of the things that makes me really nervous about him, it doesn't seem like he pauses before he takes off. If you watch his triplets in his short from last night, it's kind of squeaky how he gets out of it, and the triple axel too covers so much distance, but he never quite takes a second to just mind, body, spirit, like in one spot before he takes off. This was a step up from, I think he did what he needed to do. He would have been second had he been clean, perhaps, but I think he did what he needed to do in terms of staying in the medal mix. I don't think he's going to win. I mean, I don't think even coming in, had he been clean, he could have won.
It's just such a phenomenal short program. He only did it well at Canadian Nationals that we've seen it to its potential. Probably one of the best short programs I've ever seen choreographed. I don't know if it's the timing of the music, it's a little maybe quick or something. It's something probably doesn't sound right with him with his timing, personal timing and his jumps in the music, but it just seems so unfortunate. Such a great, he had two little slip ups right in front of me where I was sitting. Great performance. Hope that he can really turn it up a notch. The triple axel's been a problem here, so I'm nervous. I wasn't surprised that he missed it.
He added the two after.
But if there's anyone who can will himself back up, I think it'll be Patrick Chan for the free skate. I don't think he's going down without a fight for sure. But interesting, ahead of Shoma Uno. The difference, Shoma Uno, he's a smaller boy, great skating skills, but the program, he's growing into the star. He's got great performance quality. He doesn't quite have the same level of magnetism as the top three. But it's there, and it's great, but it's not excellent.
Well, you also have to remember this is his first World Championships, and so the fact that he can be in the mix and in the medal hunt is a really big step for him. It is a little bit of a
technique with the slight wrap,
the
open
leg. And missing the triple combination. I mean, those are one of those things that you just
and he does it so late because the other men do the quad triple, and I know you're going for the points and trying because he doesn't do two quads. You're trying for anything that you can, but whenever they wait until the triple at the end to put in the extra triple for the bonus and then they miss it, it's like
and when it's the last jump in the program too, it deflates the energy because he started off so strong, phenomenal quad and triple axel.
He taps his, I'm going to sound Canadian, on the cross cuts, going and the crossovers when he goes into his quad and he taps that foot. It cracks me up every time.
Those little touches, though.
It makes me smile. Loved it. I hate the costume. Gray, it's just, it washes you out. Not as bad as white on really white ice, like Dennis 10, but to me, we need to work on the costumes for Shoma Uno next season. We're stepping it up. I expect him to be back here.
I think he'll do a good long program, though. I expect...
it's going to be a great...
I think it'll be between him and Chan, probably, for that third spot, depending on how Javier skates. But let's talk about Jin, because... Talk about leaving a jump to late in the program. You got to give him credit for doing a quad toe so late in the program. 3-turn in between the quadlets, triple toe. So he got a 6 though for interpretation. Do you agree with that? When the judges, 6. Yeah, okay. I thought it looked better.
Looks better, but it's not above a 7 for sure. So I think if one judge is going to say, I mean, based on how his long program is at some events, I would go 4s, 5s.
Well, long. I thought the short.
But the short is not nearly as horrific. But he's also skating in the same group right after Adam Rippon, among some men who really perform. Yes, he does great jumps. He has some good choreography. It's not the same level. You know, if we're going to pick on Max, you got to pick on Boyang Jin.
Well, and I think the depth of the edges too, if you compare him to someone like Hanyu, because they're both physically, they have the same kind of build, where it's long, lean.
Yes. Well, he literally is about as wide as a number 2 pencil in person. I think that if anyone
that's how he does it, no hip. Yeah.
If anyone it's going to be Boyang Jin. I mean, if we could throw him across the father, Zhang, could throw him across the ice.
The father-daughter. Isn't it so weird we haven't seen pairs yet? We were just talking about this.
We've seen them practice.
No, but I mean like that they haven't, usually they're the first event. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, but Boyang Jin, I think, I'm curious to see the free skate in person. I thought that the short had better performance quality. I could see a judge giving a 6, low 7s, high 6s. It just amongst the other men, I think.
But really, his ticket is the quad.
The quad lots, which is incredible.
And the multiple quads in his long program. Well, perhaps the surprise of the men's event skating in that first group was Kolyada. Really strong short program. Do you expect him to stay in that top group?
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be in the top 8 for sure. He is certainly capable of delivering a good performance. Coming out, skating so well in the first group, oftentimes a skater in that first group, first World Championships, you might...
And the energy in the building is
so different. I mean, people didn't even come in until midway through that event. I expect that he will do well. That costume is really much, but...
hey, it worked for him.
It worked, but... I thought, good overall, a good skate. I personally preferred Adam Rippon to him. Adam did lose a couple of levels, looking at the protocol on the spin.
So, on spin in the step sequence. But I was surprised. He got some positive GOE for that triple axel, and I didn't feel that it was the best landing, which is good that he held on. The axles have been good.
I mean, they try to
in practice.
They outweigh the positives and the negatives. I could see maybe a +1. I wouldn't go +2.
I would have gone base value.
Base value, I think overall.
Yeah.
He does have a really nice air position. And I think when you see, I don't know, he has that the pointed toes, the stretched legs, and I think.
And he holds those landings.
He holds the landings. He's really worked to milk every point that he can get of what he does do. He looks very confident. I expected him to skate well after the practices. He looks like he's really grown with each event this season. That he's really taken ownership of his skating, having Derek
and not skating scared or tight like we saw from him in the past. It seems like his expectations are realistic. He's owning how great he is as a skater. With Max in 8th, Adam in 7th, could we get 3 spots?
It's possible, but I think with the men that are ahead of them, actually the men having Dennis 10 so far back, if Dennis 10 pulls something out, he could be a problem. Kolyada is really the person that they would have to beat.
Bubble guy.
And I think that it's still going to be tough. It's certainly possible. But I think that they have to have one of the top men really have a bomb, because it's just about how it's going to go. Realistically, how they're going to skate in a free skate with the points.
Well, let's talk about the points in Max, because he got a level 1 on his change camel spin, level 2 on the step sequence. It looked like he was tripping a little bit. Thoughts on his performance?
Well, Max had an error. He hasn't skated great in practices here. He skated okay.
But he didn't have Skate America, which we talked about yesterday.
And he's turned it up before. It just looked like Max made the error on the quad, and you could just see the life went out of him a bit. As any person would, it just didn't sell it quite the same way that we've seen it since Skate America or even Nationals. It lost something, unfortunately. Understandable. You missed the quad, you missed your big ticket element.
Opening of
the elements and the spins, it's just, this is not Max's first rodeo. I think that's more disappointing.
And he lost that level, I was telling you earlier, in France earlier this year on that the camel spin. So it's one of these things where you can make that mistake once in a season, but these levels, you gotta get those.
It just kills him, and I think Mr. Aaron probably knows it better. I love that Max's parents, they watch the practices, and Mr. Aaron is on top of it. I think NBC needs to have the camera on them, like Ali Raisman's parents. First, I think we all need to have a moment with Mr. Aaron, maybe during the Olympics. We could all. I think.
Get that Aaron intensity.
I like that he's on top of it, knows when Max does a level 1 spin, knows what the error is.
Yeah, immediately.
Yes. And I appreciate someone who's on top of it like that.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I think if Max can just relax and do this long program for himself, I mean, we're still in the hunt for those 3 spots.
I think he'll turn it up. In the free skate, I expect Max to skate well.
That I was going to say that I maybe don't.
But I'm ready for Max to take the next step up in choreography. I think he's made a lot of improvements this year. But he really holds an edge and looks sexy. But I think now it's time for a deeper edge and more transitions, more steps.
There's more face, too. I think he's very
He's done this for a year, and I think he's ready for the next level at this point.
Well, let's talk about some other men, because Dennis 10, 12th after the short program.
Oh my God, Jenny.
Ooh, hello.
Honestly, watching Dennis 10 in person at the World
Championship. It smells really good. Just Puritan.com. It actually does smell good.
It really does smell good. It brings me back to the night. I remember being in journalism class in news writing and reporting, and Sasha Cohen was about to skate her free skate in Torino, and I really wanted her to win. And I remember just having absolutely no faith that this could possibly happen. And watching Dennis 10 in person, he's had this kind of cloud over him all season where it just doesn't feel like his year. Perhaps he's injured. And with every 4 to 5 paragraph Instagram post that he has, I think I get more and more nervous that he has a lot of feelings.
It's too much. Just skate. Nobody knows where he is half the time, and it's kind of like it gets to a point where you're like.
And he has a mother, and I think the volunteers were saying it here, and you could just feel it when you get in the elevator.
Oh
with
yeah,
them
we were in the elevator. Yeah.
Multiple times, Skate America, and it's very. Oh,
and he's so talented, but I also think the music in the short, it didn't do him that much of a service.
It doesn't give him the life that I think last year's music did. It doesn't bring out kind of the cheekiness, the fun, the lighter side of his personality. It's so serious and heavy, which can be great, but it's a lot of the choreography from last year's program, things that worked better with that music. Overall, he's going for these harder elements, but I think he probably feels a little bit behind the 8 ball with Boyang Jin, with Hanyu and Javier, and then to go for the triple at the end.
Oh, and that fall.
Triple-double, and then the fall. It was...
The pogo, and it's like a stomach. It was just... And he looked...
Flinched.
I was saying, I was showing, because on the computer screen, you could see, he looked physically, ill, like he should have been in bed with me before he started that program. He looked nervous, or he hasn't looked to be himself this season, which is...
Yeah, hopefully next season he can bring it up a notch. He certainly has the free skate to pull it out as well. I don't think that it's lavender in here, but yeah.
Well, let's talk just a couple more mentions. Misa Gi, who Dave always thinks is going to be my best dress. Never, people.
My best dress? I thought he was an upset, maybe? I don't remember.
You thought I was going to pick him because he was so out there?
I thought you would think it was funny.
Fashion is very serious to me, people. No, he was phenomenal, though. I thought he did a really good job.
He brought back Ilya Kulix. It reminded me of all of his old costumes from the mid-90s. Centennial on Ice. But the program, he has such personality. This program, not as much, but beautiful skating.
Oh, too.
Really great. Just needs that quad in the short program to be amongst the top men. The crowd liked it much more than the judges did.
Yes. Well, Grant in 16th, again, some up and down. He just seemed, the opening quad toe, and I tweeted this too, and the triple axel, it didn't look like he needed to be so far forward. It was like he was reaching for the ice. He didn't quite trust himself. Hopefully he has nothing to lose in this long program. He can go out and really fight for it. But I want to talk about 2 non-qualifiers because this was really tough to watch. Hanyan from China, and we have sources that he's been training in LA, actually has been training, because we've talked about this in the past, that he's been doing the run-throughs. Perhaps he shouldn't have trained. Really tough. I guess he went up after he skated and was sitting.
One thing is, he gives this demeanor, like he's so relaxed. Like he never looks tense when you see
he's
the
very
arms.
laid back into his triple axel.
He's very laid back on the ice, and he's so talented, and he has good skating skills. He could be a star. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I guess he went up to the athletes section where he's sitting after and was just really, understandably devastated.
I mean, it didn't look like it was going to go there until the very end of the program, and then such a disappointment.
And then Nam Nguyen. So what exactly happened? Because originally when I heard that he was going to Worlds, I thought, oh no, Liam was injured. But this is not the story.
They didn't say he was injured.
Okay, so I just assumed, usually if a skater is top 3 at nationals and isn't immediately not named, you think?
Played a little bit of selection committee. The thing is they didn't name Nam immediately to the team.
Yeah, and that's usually when you think.
Nam is when they're banking on the future.
Which is, okay, no.
I don't know.
Yeah.
In my mind, I have 20 different scenarios.
No, but I'm thinking, because we got some shade on Twitter, people saying that by commenting that someone didn't do well or whatnot, that we're saying that he's not talented. He's still talented. He's just grown so much.
And you need time to catch up.
You need time, and anybody, and seeing his practice the first day, anybody who had gone to his rink to monitor, I know we talked to Phil about this when he was on for the previous show. This kid has grown so much, he wasn't ready to come out and compete. He needs to grow into his body.
Yeah, and he was popping the axle in warm-up. It just looks like everything is a little off in practice. It's getting there, but it's still working through the kinks. I just think it was too soon. And for whatever reason, if they wanted to get him out here, but the thing about the Canadians is that they said, Liam stepped down for the good of the team.
No skater just steps down. Oh, you know what? I'm going to give this up. I'm going to give my spot up to you, Dave.
I believe you have the chance of the Olympics.
You're the good of the team. No, honey. Even if you're Canadian.
I want to go.
I
enjoy the scenarios more in my mind of like what could have happened.
Of him just saying, you know what, I have this present.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give it to you. Go to the World Championships. Yeah, but really, really tough for him. Let's segue though to the dance.
Who bought that? And why did they think that was that's so Canadian? Oh.
It's because they're so nice that we don't want to call them out on it, but we're calling you out on it. Just a little bit. It's just saying, a little weird. Let's talk about
even
dance.
Megan Duhamel doesn't know when you ask her, and she's like, oh,
and Megan knows everything.
Yeah, she's like, oh. Love it. But for the dance event,
I dropped my paper.
In person, this was interesting. People were very surprised to see Coombs and Buckland. Obviously, they were a team last year that were on the rise. Things got, to a stall, injury, illness, weren't at the World Championship.
He kept getting sick.
And then backer people said, whoa, they were high here. Well, what have I been talking about the panels all season? This is a very important event. Igor is also aligned. This is a political game here at the World Championships in dance. With the panels, I think they are great skaters, but how, when you start to split hairs between the teams, it's such an exciting event to cover.
Well, because, okay, I want to talk about 5th through 7th, because Hubble and Donahue come out and skate very well.
Sure.
7th place, kind of a disappointment when you talk about Piper and Paul placing 5th. Is that justified? And then Anna and Luca in 6th, because all 3 teams were very, very strong.
All 3 teams were great. They skated a little bit differently in the order. Obviously, Hubble and Donahue were earlier, and then Anna and Luca in the next group. Hubble and Donahue had another moment. It was a great performance. Not as big of not the biggest crowd at that moment for ice dance. Not a terrible crowd, but they have such quality that program is their special program. So if you're gonna put them in 7th, I would think maybe the
free dance. Yeah.
Although they got rid of the wings. God, I had a moment with Marie France last night.
Oh, what did she say?
We talked about a lot of things, but there will be no more Virtue and Moyer programs from them. She said they will bring the chemistry between them, because I said that all we care about is their sexual tension between
that
them.
Carmen program was my everything.
She
got me back into
promised that
skating.
it will be
and I feel like if anyone could do it, it's Marie France. So what's going on with it? So the dress, you mean the wings.
The wings. But I think for the short dance, they just have such quality in person. Obviously, they're the 3rd American team. It is the World Championships.
If somebody's going to fall off politically,
And if you're going to have 2 Americans in the top 3, someone's the sacrificial lamb. And I think, unfortunately, that's them this season. 7th is great, but they were at the Grand Prix final. But I think
they can move up next season.
Next season.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about this before we filmed.
I think for them, it's really important that last year we kind of thought, and I think many people
it was done for them.
felt like it was done unless they made that move.
And they did.
Revitalized their career. I think next year is really the year to start to make that climb.
They did what they needed to do this season, and the difference between 5th and 7th, I know.
With Anna and Luca, I really feel like they're not moving forward in their careers, and that's a team that if I were in their position, I would say, okay, we're behind the Italians, we're behind Piper and Paul
at the World. We're former world champions. You should not be in 6 after.
I would say, okay, let's move up 2 spots next year. That would be my goal if I were Madison and Zach, and really be working to kind of get in the medal hunt, hopefully for the Olympics in the conversation.
Well, let's talk about the top 4, because...
Well, I just want to go back, just with the Italians. The one thing I noticed is that people were watching, you watch the short dance, it's just, Renee talked about how each team needs to stand out. It just didn't stand out, and other people were commenting on this. You watch the teams, it wasn't special. Even Piper and Paul, as quirky as they are, and they're not that traditional team, the crowd loved them.
Yeah, they changed the music edit.
They changed the music edit. The execution of their twizzles was phenomenal. They went for everything. They had great speed, command. The vibrant costumes worked in person. Yeah. It made them stand out on the ice. They had great energy, and they had a great performance. I would have given a little bit of a hair to Hubble and Donahue over them, but I would have them both marked very well. I would have the Italians.
And ahead of the Italians, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe even ahead of the second American team. I mean, I think when you start to watch these teams in person and the speed and the power.
Yeah, you see that difference. Well, Weaver and Poge.
This bitter.
Peter and that face and the kiss and cry. She understandably was not happy. They did skate well.
Called it after 4 continents, though. That was the death knell.
Yeah.
If the judges want room,
and they got the levels, just level 3 on their pair step sequence.
So I really think that they are good skaters and should be in the top 3 here. And I think that
you would have had them 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, I would have understood that. I think definitely, I would debate, their strengths and weaknesses against the Shibutanis even, but I think the Shibs I would have given the nod to. But I would have had them third. I think justifiably I could understand why she was upset. In the kiss and cry, I would have been pissed
Last
too.
season, it was basically their title.
I think Tess and Scott are coming back. It's over. Realistically, unless something, they make a change or they do something, it's going to be hard. They have a tough road next season. And I would be nervous. Hopefully they can go out there and really free dance for their lives and hope that that makes a difference. I mean, it's still possible for them, but it's certainly not... They're not going to become world champions. And I think it's a disappointment for them.
Yeah, it's kind of in that moment that it hits you that in my career...
You're not going to win the world.
It's not going to happen. Yeah,
and I think that that's devastating. Unless they get a post-Olympic world win or something aligns like that, it's not going to happen. And I think that that's devastating to a career because they've dominated the Grand Prix season for 2 years.
Well, it's kept seeming like we were waiting for it. We were waiting for them to win that world title, and then
the window closed.
The window closed, and it was really also the window closing last season. It seems for Chalk and Bates, he had a little bit of an error on the second part of the twizzle that received only level 3. But I mean,
no, but a level 3 in the short dance
it's a big deal. Yeah, very noticeably upset her face in the kiss and cry as well because it just the Shibutanis have usurped them. It seems as the top American team.
When you watch the top 5 teams, you're judging the best in the world. You see even on a warm-up, you see who has the speed, who has the power, who has the edges. It's ice dance, it's quality, it's all about the skating skills. And when you don't have it, I don't know how you can be upset. It's just, I mean... Well,
I think when you're so used to the judges giving it to you...
over the years.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually
they're in third place. They should not be upset.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's a good placement for them. I actually thought that they looked faster than the Shibutanis. In my mind, not as polished, but it felt like
skater.
Yeah, with the Shibutanis, the first of the big guns out the gate, it seemed like they were obviously a little. I mean, they're known for being controlled, but very controlled, a little bit more.
They're like, well, you have to be controlled. Not just controlled in the sense of the character.
No, but the performance quality, like
and
that
the
grab.
speed and the movement across the ice. Ice dance has to move. The pattern has to flow across the ice. Renee talked about it. And in person, it's just like a little bit of a more shallow pattern. It doesn't have the same speed, the same knee bend, and the same abandon that you would see from a Virtue and Moyer, from a Davison White, a Papadakis and Cizeron, even Pechalot and Borza are really the really top standout teams. It was a great performance. It was a great short dance that the Shibutanis did. The twizzles were phenomenal. When you're going for that world championship moment, to me it was they hold back a little bit to make sure that they're going to be perfect.
And I think they put a lot of pressure on themselves heading into this event because you can hear the rumblings of people saying this could be your moment.
And people feel this could be their only moment.
Yeah, this is it before Virtue and Moira come back, before the French have an injury-free season.
It just seems a huge moment.
I think they will do a phenomenal free dance, but I don't know if it will be enough. I think if the French are clean.
It's a point and a half. How much is a home crowd worth?
Yeah.
How much, I mean, the politicking, everything that's been going on, it's ice dance, there's a lot going on. And you don't know what's going to stick, who's going to like what.
And they're not the most consistent team either, so you have to keep that in mind.
Their free dance is phenomenal. What is the crowd going to respond to? What are the judges? The Shibutanis have a great free dance. They don't have a weak weak dance this year. The French got through their hurdle, so you would think that they're home free, but you never know.
Skating, you never know.
You never know. Definitely in a good position for tonight. The French in person, though, they were better on the pattern than they were in practice.
The twizzles, she held on.
The twizzles, it's just he skated with such abandon. They both skated with such abandon, but he is one of the greatest skaters, I think, of all time. Then when you watch him in person, he's just absolutely
and his just
phenomenal.
The posture and the carriage and it's
really his stretch and his extension and just the tight pants, and it's phenomenal. And
gotta give him the tight pants.
Apparently he and Marie France worked on those costumes. It looks better. They came red and black for the power. I think they got through their
hurdle
portion.
Yeah, and now hopefully they can just really
we haven't seen them ahead after the short dance before, so how will that affect them? We're so used to them coming from behind, so have to see if that matters at all. But I'm excited for the free dance today.
But I want to hear your hashtag MK moment from yesterday. What was it, Dave, please?
Well, we spent hours in the arena, and I haven't slept, and probably sleep after this. I have two moments. Men's event, Hanyu's performance, and the yell obviously has to. Witnessing it in person, phenomenal, great skating, great moment, and great to see the Japanese flags there. I don't care that it's in the US. It's so great to be in a skating audience and have people that are enthusiastic on a world level. It reminds you of back in the day when you competed and people had that energy level and that investment.
Yeah, we miss that in live skating
miss that.
events.
You know, people don't pull out the U.S. flags all across the arena. Seeing that was phenomenal. It reminded me of being in Beijing for the Olympics when they were "Jayo" and yelling. And it's just such a special thing to witness. A moment of the short dance. Well, I think Piper and Paul, Hubble and Donahue, great moments, but obviously the French in person were just fantastic. I think once we got through the twizzles, I said, thank God. And home free, and thank God, and it was a great moment. How about you?
Well, my hashtag endgame moment from the men's event was seeing Adam Rippon skate so well. I mean, all of the men that you talked about were phenomenal, but in his John Wilson's Pattern 99 blades, I think the way that he came out and he was like, I'm national champion, he did what he said he was going to do in the press conference at Nationals, which was own the material that he can do. Not try to do something that like the quadlets in the short program, but do what he does very well, and I think that he did that. In the dance event...
He's standing, I was like, is he gonna cry? Is he gonna cry? Did he almost cry? No?
Yeah, but...
I don't think he cried.
It almost seemed like he expected himself to do that well.
I expected him to skate like that after how he did. I almost hope he doesn't go for the quadlets and just has that clean, perfect performance. Yes.
With the audience and that music. And in the dance event, it was seeing the American teams do so well in their MK dance blades. I think I would love to see 2 American teams on the podium. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. I'm sorry, Weaver and Poche. I'm trying to get into your Bitter Earth free dance. I'm really try my best. But seeing the 2 American teams do so well, and also the French.
Yeah, so as always, I want to remind you that when you go out there to practice, don't get in Hanyu's way. Hold an edge.
Or else the ICU will report you. And look sexy. Bye, guys.